Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Gertrude or Trudy, and what I like to do is talk about channeling and then try to channel a message. That's why I call it a practice. I thought instead of doing it privately and then posting it in video, why don't I just try to do it this way? First off, well, from my last life, you will know that for the period of a week, I wasn't able to access this channel. I thought I deleted it. Oh, hi, Rachel. Good to see you. Yeah, I thought I deleted it. And then, as I mentioned on Friday, I, I saw a video. I recognize it. It looks familiar. I click it and it was my channel. And then but it didn't have my photo and the banner and it looked strict. And Google AI told me it will stay up there for a month before it gets deleted. Saturday, I woke up and as I mentioned, the channel was complete. It had my banner, my photo. It just looked like a complete channel. So I already have a kind of good feeling about that. So Saturday afternoon, I began to feel very restless. So I watched more YouTube video. And the videos were not applicable because it's mainly for those who deleted their brand account. I deleted my brand account, but it didn't show under the deleted, which means it didn't have a button that I could click on to recover my channel. And so I just kept fooling around with it. And all of a sudden I saw something pop up. I say, which email address do you want this channel to be connected to? I quickly click it and I couldn't believe it. I got it back. I really believe my spirit team has a hand with that because otherwise it's just, there's no other way to explain it. If you ask me to do it again, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how I did it or what happened. All of a sudden, something just popped up. Which email ID do you want your channel connected to? So I removed the other channel. I didn't want the conflict there. So let's see. I thought I'll start off by talking about channeling. What happened was I have been channeling a message after my meditation. And then I thought, why don't I do it separately? It feels like too much. So I have this energy with me almost always. What it does is it just makes me feel, I can just feel the force. It makes me feel like just wanting to close my eyes and go into meditation. So I'm almost always struggling with this energy in my head, but it's nothing new. I had it since I left the monastery, but not to this extent. It used to be just a force in my head. Now it's more like, I close my eyes and I just easily go into trance state. I do not have anyone I can really ask about this. So I just have to assume this is natural. That we when a person is further on or deeply into meditation or contemplation and leave very close to the spirit that this is what it is, like natural. Anyway, so because of this, it makes it a lot easier for me to channel. Even before I started to practice how to channel, I already had was entering into trance meditation. So I noticed from the last channel that when I speak, it is, halting English and kind of choppy. That's why I prefer to call in my spirit team and ask them to help me because then it flows more smoothly. But when I call them in, I become, sort of like in the zombie state or drug state. So if any of you have questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask. My intention to practice how to channel life is it from the beginning it has been my dream to be able to be of service to others by being able to answer questions when it's asked here. With all these things with my channel, I did learn something that I am able to hear my spirit team because Saturday morning I did a um, YouTube thumbnail for StreamYard. And I made it very loud. It's like, help, I have two identical channels. And then a few couple of hours later, my spirit team just told me, delete it. And it was very clear. So I delete it and cancel it. Half an hour before, again, I get the urge to come on live. But because of the earlier inner voice, well, what the inner voice other was you might get your channel back by the afternoon. But I dismiss it as, kind of a hopeful thought. And I did get it back by the afternoon. So when I got it back, I thought, oh my God, I really hear them. And that was, I believe that is probably the mistake with many of us who try to learn how to channel. We see these channelers going into a trance, like a trance state, and or it's just I think for me it was Susan Gisman. I watched a video where they were doing it in a group, and then this man's voice came through her and said, "Speak." And then this man's voice came through her and speak through her. So I always imagine channeling to be that way. And I was told, no, you don't, it's nothing like that. It's not big like that. That is only for movies. And that it is actually something very subtle. And it is. Recently, I shared with my sibling about how I hear the voice. And my sister, who doesn't do meditation, and she says she just can't do meditation, doesn't believe in any of this. She actually experienced what I say, the mind talking to me. So that morning, she woke up with a sore throat and she decided to ignore it. And then she heard her mind started talking to her. And her mind told her, do you remember what happened the last time you had it? Yeah, I shared this the last time. Anyway, and and reminded her how she promised to go and and not wait that long. And she listened to that voice and she went. And it is just that because all through the years, even before I practiced or learned how to channel, I was able to hear this voice already. And when I write, very often, I could feel something took over and I started to write as though taking a detection. Or I would get an idea and I always know not to let it through until I am before the computer. That if I let it through, I won't be able to capture the whole thing. So I will hurriedly go before a computer and started typing and the verses would just flow. And when it finished, I know it's finished. And usually when it finished, I will get a really nice feeling as though I did something really great. And that was actually automatic writing before I even know of such a thing. Oh, hi, Keithan. Thank you for being here. So, how I trained myself to channel was it just came to my mind, and I decided that all I have to do is get the soil ready by meditation. And I was really persistent in that. I started meditating like 3 hours a day, 4 a.m., 11 a.m., 4 p.m. I did that for 1.5 years. It took me that long to learn how to channel because I have all these ideas about channeling. So one day I was in meditation training to channel when I started speaking to myself in my own dialect. And so I asked at a channel session. I was going for channel session at the time, and the entity said yes. It was them speaking through me. And after that, what I did was conscious channeling, where I get myself ready, and then I will wait and get look, and I will see two words, and I will grab those two words, and then as I mouth those two words, the other words will start flowing in. So I can feel this energy very, very strongly with me. I feel it around my third eye chakra, and then my throat chakra. When it's strong like that at my throat chakra, I know they are wanting to come through. So I do semi trance channeling. I really want to do the complete trance channeling, but the most I have done is semi trance channeling. And so the most exciting trance channeling I have done is source channeling. It happens 3 times. I don't call source in and try to channel. It just doesn't work. But when source wants to come in, it just come in without any ceremony. It just came in and took over, and that is why it's so exciting. The last time I was trying to channel the collective I am channeling, and all of a sudden I could feel like source was just pushing the collective aside and came in and start speaking. I love that. But as I say, it happened now and again only. So this energy is very, very strong. It's so strong that, you know, so when I get it on my head, on my throat, then I know they are coming through. So this collective that I am channeling, what message do you have for us or for me today? I empty my mind. My mind is empty, and I really do not have anything in mind to channel. So I will leave it to you. And the energy is really, really strong. I usually get it around here, but this morning I'm getting it on my throat chakra. Okay, so this energy that I am channeling, I give you full permission to come into me, take me over, and speak through me. We are all the one. It is our pleasure to be addressing you all today. So, what is the oneness, the law of one? The term itself is self explanatory. We will start with the beginning. In a language, as far as far as is possible for you humankind to understand, because these questions, age-old questions, are very difficult for humankind to understand because you are just not made to understand it. You are third density being. We will try it as far as for possible. First, there is what we call the cell, the consciousness, the one. And Max Planck calls it the foundational being from which all things come. And Spinoza calls it the singularity. The Indian mystic call it the Brahmin. It is all one and the same. It is the energy you sense when you feel there is something more to your physical existence and you could feel that something undefined, that's something that your soul reaches out to. And why does your soul reach out to that? It is because you are that divine spark. So you have this singularity, this foundation, this one cell, and the one cell was immense, sufficient in itself, and it became aware. When it became aware, it wants to experience itself. Being infinite, it is not able to experience itself. The only way it could experience itself is by splitting itself into creation. And that is how we and you all come into being. And no, contrary to the belief of many, the infinite creator does not keep creating beings. You, we, the whole creation came at one time. And then from this creation, these beings we call logos, they create more, expand the creation more. So you have the sub logos and the sub logos creating this entire universe you are in and universes you do not know about. The entire creation is immense, is huge, is beyond the fathom of your mind. There are universes that the latest telescope has yet discovered. So that is how you come into being. God or infinite creator did not create you outside of yourself the way you imagine it. And he created you all by expansion. So we all come from that infinity. And we all have that divine spark. Not only human being or beings, but everything around you. So that is how creation come to be, and that is the oneness. When you understand this oneness, it can change your whole life, because until you realize or understand that oneness, you are an entity by yourself. As a result, there is a tendency in humankind to amass things for themselves, to take things for themselves, and every because they see themselves as a separate entity. When you see yourself as being interconnected with everyone, coming from the same divine source, then your perception is very different. When you fight with another, it is the infinite creator having a human experience in the other person, just as you are. And it is essentially fighting with yourself because, as St. Paul says, you all belong to the same body, to that same oneness. And that is why it helps very much to understand that oneness. The mystics have always understood it because they experience it. The metaphysicians, the physicists, a good number of them examining the earth and everything around them come to that same conclusion as also the philosophers. And this is a term that it is hard for many of you to believe, because you grow up believing that the infinite creator created you and you come into being. And as a result, it's very hard to envision the fact that you were spirit before you take on this human existence. You are spirit, and when you live this human existence, you simply move on from this human existence and you are spirit. And that is what we call the continuum. This channeler tends to believe that she was spirit, and then she came down to earth, and then she died and became spirit again. And one day we disabuse her of the fact by introducing the word continuum to her, which means that you were, you are, you will be spirit. That part of you never changes. And that is your higher self. That is you when you first came from creation. When you first came from the infinite creator, you were like him. You didn't have a physical body. You were consciousness, and you have the ability to create. And that was when you create other universes and were co-creators with the infinite creator. And then you got curious and want to experience matter. And that was when you went into first density, which is water, air, fire, earth. And that is the inanimate first density. Then you move into second density, which is trees, animals. Third density, which is you and some other planets like yours. And then there is fourth density, which is where you are moving towards. And that is why we are here on planet Earth to help you and humankind as you make this ascension to fourth density. From there, you move on to fifth density. Sixth density, like us, where we are like beings, we no longer have bodies. Seventh density is where we are moving toward. And eighth density is when you merge back with the infinite creator. And that is the path of existence. We all come from the infinite creator, and we all end up back with the infinite creator. We hope this helps in the love and unity of the one infinite creator. Thank you, my higher self, my spirit team, collective of the one. Collective of the one, which is collective of the oneness. So this form of channeling is quite recent. And I can feel the difference. Before, when I channeled them, my voice was more uncertain. It was like I was finding my way. And recently, when they come through, I can feel it this way. And actually, when I channel them, it helps me with speaking. When I was working as a caregiver, the office manager would tell me, if you will only slow down speaking, people can understand you better. And my tendency was just to go full speed. Yeah, I was kind of looking at the cards. I was just thinking, which one would I pick up? I was just thinking of getting a message. Almost half an hour. So that, oh, hi, Zima. Thank you for being here. You know, it's lovely being with you all. To be honest, when I left 9 months ago, the first thing I felt was great channel message, thank you. So the first thing I felt was a sense of relief because I think I was doing too much and I didn't realize that it was, taking a toll on me. And so I started this channel. And as I mentioned, I said to myself, I'm not a tarot card reader. I'm not a psychic in that sense. I am a present day mystic. So I started it with mysticism, spirituality, mysticism. And that works out so much better for me. And I have views. And then recently, the views stopped single digits. And it is spirit way of telling me, okay, Tham, it is so much clearer now. and easier to understand. Thank you, Trudy, for channeling this. They have a way of saying it where it's easier to understand, and the other way is when it's a very tricky topic, they are able to put it in words where it is not. It's like they skirt through it and it comes out and they deliver the message, and yet, you know, no one can really, you know, get at me for saying something that is really delicate. So they have that. I am open to any questions, or I'm open to many readings. That's what I'm trying to say. As I say, I do a yes no question and outcome. That is, so if you have a question about something that you just want to know the outcome of, that one I can do. But otherwise, just for a start, I didn't get. There is one that I really like, and I look and I certainly don't see it. Oh, this one is quite good too. It's Wisdom of the Oracle. Colette Baron read. What I like is cards that have few words. You know, it's just cards that have few words for a message. And then I will end it with that. So is there anything you want to ask? Anything? My life, childhood, my life as a nun and after? That is all in my channel. So let me pick up 3. So before that, I am thinking that for the meditation, it is rather redundant doing the 10 minutes energy healing and meditation, because the meditation is healing also. It's a healing session also. So I'm thinking of going back to how I had it, meditation, and then just chat. So what do you think about that? 4 of you. So my spirit team, a message for the collective. No, no place like home. That is so true. And for the past week, this is like my home on YouTube, and when I can't access it, it gives you the strangest feeling to see it floating on YouTube, and it's yours, and you can't access it. Yin, that would be yin and poise. Yin would be the female energy, and poise, reaching out. I see poise as harmony. Deep inside us is actually that peace. And when things go wrong, especially when we are in connection with our divine self, when things go wrong, it's like the ocean, where when things go wrong, and it's like the ripple on the surface of the sea or the ocean, and underneath is that peace. And for me, the peace is the divine in us, the divine spark. Um, so what I have been doing most of the 9 months was to get very in contact with my inner inner self. Okay, uh, okay, I have two relatives dear to me who are very sick. Will they recover? So for this outcome question, I use tarot cards only. I don't know why I just I just kind of like trust it more. So what I do, I don't go into readings like the psychic readers, but I do the outcome, like positive cards or negative card. And interestingly enough, I learned a new way of learning the tarot cards. I use Gemini AI. By accident, I found that is how slow I am. I found that I could use the audio and talk with Gemini. So I asked them several tarot cards last night, and they were right on exactly as I learned them. So collective of the one help me pick the cards. Two relatives very sick. Will they recover? I can feel their energy very strongly with me. So right now, they are struggling very hard with it. And they are feeling very, very burdened with it. But the outcome is good. You know, the Ten of Pentacles, that is a really good outcome. Yes, so according to the cards, yes, they will recover, although they will have a they have to they will have a hard time with it. They are having a hard time with it. And they have to really work toward that recovery. I hope that helps. For me, the most important is the outcome card. Zima, I have a similar situation with my parents. You know, when I shuffle the card, I can feel their energy and it's so strong. And Zima, I can feel it also. Well, they know you. You know, you have been with me and they have been with me. So they know you. And I noticed that it makes a difference when I have been with when someone has been with me a while, and when I draw cards, I can feel the energy very strongly. So collective of the one, Zima parents. What is the outcome? So right now, they are like bound up. They are Queen of Cups. So right now they have this feeling like they are bound out by the the feeling of not being well, but they will go to smoother water. This is the cup where you can see the water is very rough. So this car is always good. They are moving towards smoother water. Yeah, so they will get better. Yeah, and it's similar situation, similar reading. It's rough going, but after the struggle, things will get better. And with healing, as I experienced with my own sickness, when we engage in that healing meditation, it does work. What I do with the healing meditation is, and this I learned from several times when I have been sick. We have a tendency when we pray, we want it answered badly. And so we say, God, 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 please, you got to make them feel better. I was doing that with my dog, Mari. And and then all of a sudden I could feel something telling me to calm down, pray with the heart. And that something told me, don't think just because you try to put pressure on God to answer your prayers, that He will answer your prayers. When you pray that way, it is suffering also because it's very stressful when you pray in that way. And I think we Catholics, we pray that way. Please, God, you got to grant us this. You got to make them better. And they say, no, the more effective way is to pray with the heart. And that is something they have been teaching me recently. The heart is our divine spark. And it's more effective when you ask something, ask with your heart. When you pray for something, pray with your heart. And it is just when you make that intention and you go and meditate, you will feel your heart. And you will know when you are praying with your heart. And I have found that to be really effective and helpful with praying, because the last two bouts of sicknesses I actually heal it just with the healing meditation. Zima, my mom is 86 and dad nearly 93. So I'm at peace with what is to be. Yes, in this case, you always pray. Like my sister, I have a sister who is dying of uterine cancer. And she told me she doesn't ask to pray to get well, but to have the peace to endure. Because when you are at peace, you suffer less. And a lot of with suffering with sicknesses, a lot of it is fear and not having that peace. So when they have that peace, when you have that peace, when they have that peace inside, it makes the journey smoother, makes the suffering easier. Yeah. Well, yeah, welcome. So I think I will end here. So my intention to train myself to do medi to do life channeling this way is, I like to be able to hear, you know, to be able to do it, like channel. So I'm not there, but what I do is I use my magical deck, which is my tarot cards. I call them my magical deck because they they told me if I call them in, they will help me pick the cards. And I call them in every time, and I could feel their energy getting really strong. And as I'm talking, I can feel it getting very strong again. Oh yeah, welcome. So I will see you. Oh no, I'm saying I will see you on Friday. Well, Friday is Christmas. I'm just going to do it, and whoever, so even whoever is there is there. So don't feel that you have to attend it because I do it a lot of times for those coming after, especially the meditation. It's not. It's for now and for those coming after, and they can use that to meditate. Okay, so thank you for being here. I see there are four of you. Yeah, okay. So I'll say goodbye here. Bye. And I'll be back Friday, same time, 1 p.m. EST for the meditation. Bye.